Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Andre, and in this video I will be sharing some of my recommended gear if you're just getting started or if you're looking to get into music production or build your own home studio. I created a kit of basically the essential gear that you would need to get started, and it includes absolutely everything. So the whole thing should be under $2,000, but I'm assuming that there will be some things that you already have, like a monitor screen or the mouse or keyboard or headphones or some cables and whatnot. So it will most likely cost you less than that. And there's also some alternatives. And I'll go over every single item in the kit. And yeah, hopefully this will be helpful and kind of get you an idea of like what you should be getting if you're just getting started. So here's my profile on kit.co. I have some recommended studio monitors, some budget synths under $300. You can see like my own studio, what I have, and the recording and streaming gear that I use. And this is the complete home production studio for beginners under 2K. That's the kit that I made. And again, this is assuming that you don't have anything. And if you have some of the stuff, then good for you. Less money that you need to spend on other stuff. So yeah, the main driver, the computer, the new Apple M1s, that's the one that I would go with. If you're just buying a new machine, there's absolutely no point getting an Intel one at this point. And I opted in for the 8 gigs of RAM because I really don't think you would benefit from 16 and like paying that extra $200-300 on that. But I do think that you would need the 512 gigs of storage because 256 is just too low. It's not enough. You're gonna run out of space really fast, and you can't upgrade later. So it's like what you see is what you get. So might as well get that extra storage and make sure you're good there. Obviously, monitors. You gotta have monitors if you're building a home studio. I think the KRK Rocket, the G4, the 5-inch ones are a really solid choice. They're fairly cheap for what you get. It's only like $355. I know there are like cheaper options out there, especially if you get like a 3-inch monitors. But I feel like these just are all around really solid choice. They're not too big, they're not too small. They're pretty powerful for like a small home studio. They have like really great reviews, and again, like really good bang for your buck. So that's my recommendation as far as studio monitors. So unless you already have monitor stands, which I'm assuming you don't if you're just getting started and you're building your first home studio, you absolutely have to have either some type of monitor stands or some type of isolation between the monitor and your desk to avoid any unnecessary noise and reverberation. Moving on, you obviously need a sound card, and for some reason it's all the way at the end here. But this is the one that I would recommend. Pretty much the best bang for your buck that you can get here. Like $109 for the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. I have the Focusrite Scarlett 18920 because I have a lot of gear that I connect to. But if you're just getting started, this is all you need. You get one mic input, one instrument input. If you play a guitar or if you have like a synthesizer you want to plug into, headphone out. You get 48 volt phantom power. Just overall really solid interface. You also get Ableton Live Lite and a bunch of other free software once you register your interface. And again, it's just like you can't beat this price. Like $110, like it's just unbelievable. And I know as a user of Focusrite, they're like really solid interfaces. Their software is very easy to use and set up. So yeah, this is the one that I recommend. Obviously, you will need cables to connect the monitors to the audio interface. And this is, I feel like, a debate among people whether or not high quality cables matter. I personally think that they do. This is based on my own experience. If you buy super cheap cables, you might hear some hum or some noise and crackle in your speakers on higher volumes. The downside is really good quality cables are expensive. I personally use Mogami, and I swear by them. They're probably the best cables ever. The reason I'm not recommending them here is if you just have the sound interface and the monitors connected and there's nothing else happening, you will most likely not hear any difference. You can always buy both cables, like both the cheaper ones, which is the monoprice, and the Mogami ones, and see for yourself if there is a difference. If you don't hear any difference, then you can just return the expensive ones and keep these. It's like $8 for a 6-foot cable compared to like 50. I think that's what Mogami runs. Yeah, it's it's around 60-50 bucks. Yeah, like $55 for a balanced TRS to XLR. It's a personal choice, and I think the best way to know is just hear it for yourself. So, if you can buy both, and then if you can hear the difference, obviously keep the ones that sound better and have less noise and stuff. Moving on, a MIDI controller is a must if you're getting into production. This is one of my favorite MIDI controllers, the Akai MPK Mini. I have one right here. This is the MK3. It's the updated version. Not a whole lot is different. They updated the pads and the knobs, and then there's a little LCD screen. And from what I've heard, the keys feel a little more sturdier and like a little better, more kind of like pro feel to it. And still, it's the exact same price that the previous generation was going for. Yeah, just overall, really solid MIDI controller. You get 25 keys, you get pads, you get knobs. So, if you're playing the piano or synthesizers, or, if you're making beats and you like to like finger drum, or if you want to like record automation with the knobs, you got everything in one package. And again, I used it for like 4 years and it still works perfectly. Can't go wrong with this one. Now, I'm assuming you don't have a monitor, but if you do, then you can just use whatever monitor you have, since you're getting the Mac Mini, so you won't have it's not like a laptop, you don't have a display. This is the one that I recommend, and the reason behind this is the cheapest monitor you can find that is 27-inch and is 2K resolution, so like 2560 by 1440. Any other monitor that is in that realm would cost you between $150 to $200 more, like just to get started. Again, this is not for gaming purposes, because I've read some reviews on this and some folks said that this is not the best monitor for gaming, but this is not the focus here. The main reason for this is so you can have more real estate. If you just get like a full HD, like 1080p monitor, it just does not look good. You don't have enough room on your screen to fit all the plugins, all the DAW, and all. This is just my personal opinion. If you feel like a 1080p monitor is good for you, then obviously go for that, and you can save some money there. But for a 27-inch 2K resolution display, like, you can't get cheaper than that. Now, this is something I'm sure you could probably save some money on as well. The keyboard and the trackpad by Apple, I personally really like them. And if you're gonna be using a Mac Mini as your daily driver, having the Apple keyboard and the trackpad just makes sense to me. And I personally like how they feel and all the things you can do, like all the gestures. And this is pretty expensive. Like, it's $94 for the keyboard and $123 for the trackpad. So like, this is something you don't have to get. You can just get a wired keyboard mouse or some other brand that will probably cost you like $100 less. Another really important thing that's overlooked by beginners is acoustic treatment. Obviously, you're not going to go crazy here, because acoustic treatment, like professional acoustic treatment, can get really, really expensive. Even the ones here on my wall are basically from Amazon. It's slightly different than what I have here, because that exact model, for some reason, is no longer available. But this is pretty much the same specs, it's 12 by 12 by 2 inches, which is really important. If it's 1 inch, it's too thin, it's not going to make any difference. That 1 extra inch of thickness does make a difference. And after I put all of my foam up, I absolutely could feel and hear the difference in the echo and the reverb in the room. So again, it's not perfect, but it's absolutely better than nothing, and it will help you like train your ear and get like a better sounding mix right off the bat, instead of dealing with a lot of incorrectly mixed and EQ'd tracks just because your room was not treated properly. So here you will get 48 of these foam panels. And something important that I feel like almost nobody talks about, the way that they arrive, like once they're shipped, they're all like packed super tight. So once you get it, you'll be like, WTF, like this is not what I ordered, but it actually is. They're all like super compressed. And then in the instructions, usually what they tell you is to just leave them like out and about for 24 to 48 hours, and then they will come back to their original form. What you should do is soak these in warm water for about 1 minute, air dry them, or if you're in a rush, you can just blow dry them with a hair dryer, and within like 5-10 minutes, they're all good to go, and you can put them up on the wall. Also, these come with these like adhesive stickers to put them on the wall. I find them not doing a good job. Some of them just like fell off. So instead of that adhesive tape, what I recommend is to use this spray. That's the exact spray that I used. It's just perfect. It will be enough to cover the 48 panels that you get. I think we're almost done here. A couple more things that I recommend. A mic, if you're recording vocals of any kind, it's a solid mic. It's $40. It has really good reviews. I use a Shure right here. You know, it's a little different than this one, but still, it's a well-known company, so you can trust them that their products are good. And then, you know, obviously you will need a cable for your mic, which is the exact cable that I'm using here. And then I threw in some headphones, because it's always nice to have another point of reference for your mix, for your track, other than the monitors. You know, your ears can get fatigued after listening to the same thing over and over again on the exact same speakers. So having like some other audio source that you can kind of like compare to is always nice. And again, these ones are like a classic choice. 5,000 ratings, that almost 5 stars for $50. Can't go wrong. The AKJ Pro. Yeah, I think that covers all of this. So this entire kit is coming out at roughly $2K US dollars. Again, I'm pretty sure most people will have some of these things already. Anyone has a monitor at home these days. So like, you know, you can take $250 off of the $2,000. Most people are probably not gonna get the Apple keyboard and the Apple trackpad, so that's again another $200 that's less. So you know, we're already at like $1,500. And then some of these things, like, you don't have to get, right? Like, you don't have to get a mic, you don't have to get the headphones, you can just stick with the monitors. So yeah, I think this is a very solid options for you to just get started and, you know, start creating music, start producing. I recommend checking my other kits here for like other recommended monitors. If you end up saving a bunch of money because you already own some of the stuff, you can always check out some of the budget synths under 300. You know, if you want to start getting into synthesizers, you know, there's a lot of good solid options here. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. One more thing, if you like my shirt, take no for an answer. You can get it on my website. I'll leave the link in the description for both the kits and the shirt. And yeah, hopefully you liked it, you enjoyed it, it was helpful. It will give you some idea of what you can get to get started with music production. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.